Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and the point of this video is to guilt and roll, trait roll for Key Art 10, but there is something I want to talk to everyone about before we get started. So one of the main questions I see on the Facebook page I'm a part of is this banner worth pulling? Or are these medals particularly good? Or what Keyblade should I level up first? And to be honest, the best way to answer that question is it's very dependent on your medal set. So for example, what I have on my screen right now is actually my best Fenrir combination that I could think of. So let's actually just go ahead and look at my medals for what we have in terms of our red department. Because mainly the first 3 slots are usually occupied by buffers, or even just the first 2 slots. So for example, for the most part, this illustrated Kyrie 2 and this 0.2 Kyrie right here, these are going to stay in place. So they're going to occupy the first 2 slots, meaning even if we removed Maleficent Dragon, we'd be left with something like this, where we'd have a red slot, it's got a really high multiplier, and how do we fill that slot? So let's actually take these 2 out, take a look at our available red medals, and then see where we can go from there. So as you can see, when it comes to tier 5 reds, I don't have any that are guilted. Let's actually sort them. So because these are our high multiplier slots, we want something that's really, really strong. We want something that's got a tier 5 guilt or tier 4 guilt even, and we want it to hit as high as we possibly can. So it has to have guilt in order to hit that multiplier. I can't throw in something that's not guilted because it's not going to do nearly as much damage. So when it comes to tier 5s or tier 4s even that can fill these slots, we do have Illustrated Belle and Beast, but because it comes with the effect of removing status effects from the enemy, it would remove the defense debuffs given by the 2 Kyries. So that's out. We can't use that one there. Let's see, and I think that might actually be the only tier 4, tier 5 upright red that I have. Yeah, see, so everything else was not guilted. So that's pretty much it. When it comes to the best red, I'd have to say Fill-In Hercules is really good with an AoE effect that's got a 3.36 multiplier. And then when it comes to the other slot, there really isn't anything good in my upright red department. I could throw the Pooh Tigger and Rabbit there if I was playing a defensive game. But other than that, it's just a bunch of tier 3s here. So unless that tier 3 had something like Aerial or Ground minus 60, it's really not worth putting in that 3rd slot in my opinion. So what I'd rather do is I would throw in another buffer there. So let's go ahead and throw that Maleficent Dragon back on there. Did I miss it? Yeah, there it is. Alright. So because Maleficent Dragon removes HP from me, I'm going to rearrange my blade so that I heal right after it. Because the effect of Maleficent Dragon, if you read it here, it lowers the defense of all targets by 2 tiers for 1 turn, which is good. But it inflicts damage in exchange for HP, meaning I have to find a way to restore my HP after, unless I could just 1-turn the enemy. So now we've got one more slot. It's a reversed red. It's got a 2.8 multiplier, which is really high, and we want to throw something with guilt on there. So when it comes to reverse red with guilt, these are my options here. This is guilted, but it doesn't have favorable traits. So extra attack is good for buffers, not particularly good for attack medals because it removes some of the attack. But if you have it, you have it. Use the extra attack. But aside from that, no tier 4s or tier 5s guilted. So again, we're going to aim for a tier 3 with Ground or Aerial minus 60. In my case, I have the Alexius B medal, which has Aerial enemy defense minus 60, or I have the Syx B medal, which has Ground enemy defense minus 60. So both of these are really solid candidates for that target, for that multiplier. In my case, I'm going to put Syx B just because, just like in the last video when I talked about random hit targets with SP, Donald, and Goofy, same reason with the Syx here. It's got a ridiculously high multiplier. If I could concentrate all those attacks on one enemy, that's going to do a lot of damage. And then I also have Attack Boost 3 Max SP Gauge 1 on it. So that's pretty much my best red setup, in my opinion. Now, let's go to the point of this video, which is to talk about Key Art 10 as well as Guilt and Trait Roll it. So Key Art 10 is going to be a tier 5 medal. It is going to be a tier 5 red upright medal, meaning it's going to be a really good candidate on that last slot of Fenrir if I can Guilt it, which I fortunately am capable of doing. Let me go ahead and remove my filter. Alright, so here are our Key Art 10s. We are going to Guilt it and we are going to Trait Roll for it. Now the next question is, what traits are best? In my opinion, and again, this isn't my opinion, this is just a general, this isn't like a general overview. The best traits for this medal are going to be damage in raids, extra attack, ground enemy defense minus 60, and aerial enemy defense minus 60. For my particular situation, because I don't have any damage pushing red upright medals, I'm going to be aiming for ground enemy defense minus 60 and aerial enemy defense minus 60. In most cases, if you have a better tier 5 red medal to put in that slot, aim for damage in raids, aim for extra attack, because those two traits give this medal more sustainability in raid bosses, where pretty much... So let's look at the effect here. It deals the 2 hits, it raises PSM strength by 1 tier for 3 turns, and lowers target's PSM defense by 1 tier for 3 turns. Deals more damage the higher your HP. So what that means to us is that whatever battle you go into, in order to make the max benefit of this medal, you're going to have to at least have 3 turns there in order to reach that 3 tier strength, 3 tiers debuff. So if you have extra attack, it gets up to 6 tiers strength, 6 tiers debuff, which is really good, and it gives you a chance for a medal that you can put a Lux boost on, get a lot of Lux out of it if you go into raids. So damage in raids is also very good. Because it is tier 5, and because the best thing I have in my upright red department is going to be that Hercules and Phil, and this, I believe this multiplier goes up to 3.8. Let me see how much Hercules and Phil is. So Hercules and Phil is 3.36. Now, I haven't done the math, but I'm pretty sure when you calculate out the damage for a tier 3 Guilt with a 3.36 multiplier, it is not nearly as much as a tier 5 with a 3.18 or whatever it comes out to be. So I want to aim for ground enemy defense minus 60, and I want to aim for aerial enemy defense minus 60. That gives me more options in terms of Coliseum, because again, after you reach enemies that are level 500 or higher, you're going to want that ground enemy defense, aerial enemy defense minus 60. And it's also good for Union Cross missions, because in Union Cross, those battles do tend to last longer than 3 turns. So you're going to get the full amount of benefit from this medal. And I'm talking specifically during the special half-hour bonus kind of deal. So let's go ahead and Guilt and Trait Roll Key Art 10. Again, for me personally, because my red setup is lacking in power, I'm going to want that ground and aerial minus 60. So without further ado, thank you guys for sticking along for the explanation, and we are going to start Trait Rolling and Guilt Rolling. Alright, so here is our first trait. Okay, max HP plus 800, not bad, because for a sustainable fight, you're going to want to have some good HP. So max HP plus 800 is a good one, I will accept it, but again, we are aiming for those attack metal traits. Alright, come on, give me the ground, give me the aerial, give me something that's not a resist. Oh, nuts, okay. Oh, jeez. Okay. So we have 4 more. Maybe even 5 if I want to sack that last one. But 4 more. Let's hope for that grounder aerial minus 60. I'm really hoping this could actually be my first tier 5 with both on them. That would be actually pretty sweet. Oh my gosh, another resist. Oh, okay. Whoa, no. Okay. Whew. If my traits end up being bad, I have to roll that 8th one, guys. Alright, let's go ahead and skip past this animation and just hope we get one of those minus 60s. Are you kidding me? Another poison resist? Ah, jeez. Okay. 2 more to go, guys. 2 more. Let's hope we can get that, get one of those minus 60 traits. It'd be kind of a long shot, to be honest. I actually haven't gotten any of the favorable traits that I was talking about earlier. Max gauge is +2. No. Oh, gosh. This is pretty bad. Okay. So let's go ahead and replace that. You know what? Because the traits aren't favorable, I am going to have to do the last 2 rolls. So let's go ahead and roll for guilt as well as another trait. Alright, so our guilt roll above 120. Nice, 126. I can dig that. Okay. And please, give us the grounder aerial. Please give us the grounder aerial. Yes! Nice! We did it! Alright, cool. So, I do value... yes, thank you. I do value that ground enemy defense minus 60 more than I do max gauges. So, let's go ahead and replace that. Nice! This is pretty sweet. Okay. I'm thinking there's no other situation where I'm going to need an ungilted version of this. So, let's go ahead and actually just roll it in. Hope we get that aerial minus 60, and we can go from there. And hope for a higher guilt roll, too. That'd be nice. Save some mirrors. Alright, I'm going to look away, because for some reason, good things happen when I look away. But actually, for the guilt roll, I'm okay. 126. Alright, fair. Alright, I'm going to look away, because for some reason, good things happen when I look away. It's probably going to be like ground minus 60 again. Max gauge is +2. Okay. So like I said before, I do value max HP plus 800 over max gauges +2. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. So max gauges +2, you're gone. So those are all my trait rolls. That is all my guilt rerolling I'll be able to do with this medal. So let's take a look. So this is going to be, I'm sorry, it's 3.12. I am going to max mirrors this guy to 150. And then it is going to be my main damage pushing medal for my red setup. So now, referencing the earlier part of my video, my new red setup is going to look... where are you, Sura? It's now going to look like this. So now I have a tier 5 in that last slot. It is going to push way more damage than that Hercules and Phil did. I just have to give it the right skill, pretty much. So yeah, that is my explanation of why I was aiming for those traits. Unfortunately, I didn't roll into either extra attack or damage in raids. But we did get the ground minus 60, which is a good trait. And plus 800 HP is also really good as well, because I need to test it. It's one of those things I need to test. It might actually increase the attack of this medal. See, so it inflicts damage in exchange for HP, so you'd kind of think the more HP you sacrifice, the more damage you get out of this. But yep, that is going to be my guilt and trait roll for KHUX 10. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to throw them in the comments below. And until next time, everyone, take it easy.